Hello and welcome back to another video, and what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be doing a tier list on every single tower in BTD6. And it's not just the base tower, it's all tier 5s including paragons. So I'm going to explain, see in late game and ultra late game, bosses, stuff like that. And let's get on to it. Boomerang monkey. It's not that bad. Top path, definitely useful in like shims. But the middle path will probably do good at 2TC. The bottom path, mob domination, will be very good against DDTs and ZMGs and all that. The Paragon is good for late game, but not good for ultra late game, aka round 200 and over. So I'm going to give it a B. Now before we continue, all of this is my opinion. Of course, you can think that other things are put in the wrong place, or too high, or too low. Now, for some reason it's put the boomerang first, so we've got the dart monkey. Top path is only good for like cornfield, where the projectiles can bounce like everywhere. Middle path is awful, only go through it if you get in the paragon. Bottom path is great for like middle, like 60 to 80, that's when it's most useful. Paragon you want to use for tier 3 bosses, but the boomerang paragon for bosses you don't want to use it for elite, not much. Not the dart monkey for elite either, you want them for normal. So for dart monkey I'm going to put it at C. The bomb shooter, it does not have a paragon. Top path, balloon crush, can stun everything up to BAD because it can't stun them. It's very useful, but it needs camera detection. But also it has a high price tag. Not good in bosses unless you're stalling. Middle path, great. Not that good, but pretty good in bosses. You want to use it for like tier 1, maybe tier 2. Mob eliminator, it will do great against mobs. Not good against like smaller balloons. No mob class. And the bottom path, no point getting the 5th tier unless you plan on leaking lives, because the ability bomb blitz only works if you lose a life, and sometimes that's just not even possible. So for that I'm going to put it at C. Blue gunner. Top path, really good against the dread balloon, mainly the rock balloons though, because on primary it does not spawn any rock balloons. The middle path is very good, but not too good though. It's good for like making your paragons and that do more damage because it applies all of them with glue, but not very good at single target. Bottom path, very good for stunning, also does damage, so I recommend you go middle path. Only want it for bosses if you're stunning as well, so I'm going to put it at C. Attack shooter, top path you want for around 100 to 120, then it starts getting a bit low in DPS. Not really that bad in bosses, but I don't really recommend it. Middle path is awful. All what it does is send little tiny swords, not swords, like shuriken things everywhere. Not very good, not much damage. Bottom path though is great for tier 1 bosses including elite, very good. So since it has something usable I'm going to put it in C as well. Ice monkey, top path, very good for increasing DPS. Super brittle is very useful. Absolute zero, never buy. Its ability only does 1 layer of damage, barely stuns. Also, don't spend that much money on it. Whoops. So Icicle Impale is very good against DDT. It's one of my best recommendations for DDT popping power. Also great for stunning, but make sure you give it camo detection and make sure you do go middle path. So for that I'm going to put it at B. Monkey Sub, very good against bosses. Top path, 20% reduced ability cooldown is absolutely fantastic for bosses, including if you're doing you're doing Ultra Boost, that's it. You do Ultra Boost, good for overclock. Not very good for damage though. I don't recommend doing it for damage. I recommend just get the ability of the 20% reduced cooldown. Middle path, not bad. If you're trying to one-shot bosses, then yeah. But just use it for like tier 1 and 2 if you can. Now, bottom path, Sub Commander is not good on its own, but very good. Like, pretty good. Like, if you add more subs, then yeah. Also, don't go for the tack shooter Paragon unless you're trying to go little late game. Since it needs water, I'll put it in B, but it would definitely went to A if it did not need water. Sniper Monkey, this one's going to be difficult. Top path cripple mode, great for also damage, but also great for stalling because of course it stuns the Moabs because of main Moab. The middle path, only good for money, but if you want that elite targeting, I guess, sure. Bottom path, very good against Vortex for tiers 1, maybe 2, but if you want to use it good for tier 2, you just want like buffs on it. So for that I'm going to put it in A. And also the Monkey Sub Paragon is very good. Keep on missing all the Paragons for some reason, I can't really remember them all. Too much stuff on my mind. Top path for Buccaneer, not bad. Planes carry flagship. It can hold land towers on the boat, so very good. Only 2 though. Planes do high damage. I recommend going middle path, but if you're going to put it in the middle, just get bottom path. The middle path is very good for hooking in Moab, so if you need damage, because it doesn't matter how much health they have, it can pull up to 3 zongs, I'm pretty sure. And the bottom path, very good for money. I recommend you use it if you're doing boat farms. The Monkey Buccaneer Paragon, however, is actually very useful because it can hook in BADs with its ability, but the ability does take a long time. So for that, I'm putting it in A. Monkey Ace is where we're probably going to have an S tier, most likely. So, top path, don't really go for it unless you're getting the Paragon. It doesn't really do that much damage. All it does is spray darts everywhere. Middle path, I don't know what's worse, top or middle. Probably both tied for last, but middle path, basically Star Bomber. You just throw a giant nuke on the map and just nukes them. Long cooldown. Kind of pricey. Don't really recommend it unless you're going for the Paragon. Bottom path is where we get all of the damage. Flying Fortress. Homing bombs and darts. And a bunch of them. Yes. Recommended, but very pricey. The Goliath Doom ship, aka the Ace Paragon, is very recommended for bosses. I do recommend that for bosses. If you want to get an elite tier 5 boss done, aka Balloonarius, which probably has the most health, I do recommend using Monkey Ace Paragon. So that's going in S. Helipilot, top path, very good for around 80 to 100. Not good after, kind of flops off around 110. But very good for chimps and stuff like that. The middle path is special populations. If you want to move the towers, just get the tier 4. No point getting tier 5 unless you want the balloons. Bottom path, I never get. All what it is once the balloons get like close enough to the exit, it spawns like help, aka smaller heli pilots. Like, I just don't like it. So for that, it's going to go in B. Mortar Monkey. Top path, pretty good for 60 to 90. Make sure you get camera detection if you want it to be good to 100. The middle path, no, I just don't like popping all. It does shoot kind of fast and the ability is pretty cool, but like, I don't really recommend it. Balloon Incineration, I think that's what it's called. Very good, don't recommend it though either, because it can get pretty laggy with the 5-8 places. But if you want to get rid of the fortified on Moabs and stuff like that, just get shattering shells. So for that, I'm putting it in C tier. Dartling Gunner, definitely going to be S tier already, but I'm going to explain. Top path, Rare Doom, very good from rounds, I'm going to say 80 to 120. But not really that good for bosses unless you're using Vortex where you got single target damage. The middle path I do recommend for bosses, only a bit for Elite though, because Elite does have a lot more health. But if you're going for a normal, definitely get the MAD. Most useful thing, probably. Make sure you overclock it. Bottom path, Balloon Exclusion Zone, don't really like it. It's just kind of boring. Target independent though, kind of cool, but I just don't like it that much. But even though that's really good in bosses, it goes in S. Wizard, okay. Top path, Archmage, pretty good. It kind of merges all three of them though, because you got the bottom path Shimmer, you got the middle path what's it called, Dragon's Breath. Also you got top paths like attack and the range, so it kind of merges all of them. Middle path, Summon Phoenix. No, it's first one that I've forgotten I've forgotten the 5th tier name. Wow. It does summon a Phoenix permanently, but also there's another ability where it shoots like meteorites, meteors that the attack shooter sprays, but I don't know if they're actually the ones that they do. Prince of Darkness, useful for DDTs. I do recommend it for DDTs, but it's only good for like 80 to 99, not good for the BAD, because there's barely any DDTs that come out of the BAD, so technically there's no point for it for that. The Wizard Paragon, however, is actually pretty good. I don't know how you might call it, but I do recommend for bosses, but only normal bosses, not Elite, because Elite needs like Spike Paragon, you need Ace Paragon, Ninja Paragon, only a bit though, low degree though, you want high degrees on the ones that I've just mentioned. So for that I'm putting it in A. Druid, top path, Superstorm, that has just got changed from Superstorm to something that I can't remember in the latest update that I'm recording this, I'm probably going to be posting. I do not really recommend this unless the Druid Paragon comes out one day, because all it does is blow them back. Could be useful for late game though. Middle path, Spirit of the Forest, pretty good for quests. If you want to complete quests that give you like 500 monkey money, Spirit of the Forest is like sometimes most of the solutions. So I do recommend that. Also pretty good in bosses, but not really the best for bosses either. I recommend that for the normal rounds. Bottom path, definitely good for bosses, but only normal mode though. Like tiers 3 and 4, but if you want it with tier 4, you want an MAD as well. Avatar of Wrath also increases its damage the more balloons they are, So balloon areas, when it spawns all of its rushes from each skull, is going to be very helpful from it boosting its damage. So for that, goes in A. Alchemist, top path, great for buffs. If you want a god boost, you need that thing. So that is also very good. The middle path, never go. Never, no, don't recommend it. All it does is transforms the alchemist into like a monster, and it shoots laser eyes, and sometimes uses the alchemist around it and transforms them into mini versions. Bottom path, I think it's Balloon Master Alchemist, turns everything up to a DDT into a red balloon. Very good for ultra late game, not good for bosses at all because it loses your money. So for that, it goes in C tier. Super Monkey, top path, true sun god, very useful if you want a god boost as well, but also very good at getting the VTSG, the eventual true sun god temple. The middle path is not really that good for bosses unless you're trying to use the ability for like the normal balloons. Anti-balloon, I think it's anti-balloon gunner. Yeah, if you're going for the VTSG, get it, but if you're getting it normal, not good for bosses. Pretty good, but also pretty pricey for normal game if you're not going to farm. Bottom path, Legend of the Night, has a black hole ability, so whatever leaks gets absorbed. You do not lose the health, but also it's on like a 7 night something cooldown, a very long cooldown. But also if you can try and get the VTSG, also go for it. But not good for like if you're only going to round 100 and you're not farming. Not good, too expensive. For that goes in A. Ninja Monkey, now this is a good one. Top path, Grandmaster Ninja, shoots like 8, maybe 9 shurikens, can't really remember. If you go bottom path, the heat seeking, I think. Just very good, not really that good for bosses, do recommend it to get the Paragon though, but is good for like 60 to 90, I would say. Middle path, Grand Servitor, good for lowering the HP of mobs that come out, not good for single target damage if you're just trying to make him shoot the shurikens, not good for that. I recommend if you're going to buy him, use the ability. Bottom path, very good for bosses, but not elite though, normal. Master Bomber is very good for normal, but don't use it for 4th tiers. Use it for 2, 1 if you can, 2 if you can, not 3, because I think 3 has a bit too much health. So the Paragon I do recommend for normal tier 5 and tier 3 elite. Anything higher, you're going to need like a degree 40. So for that, goes in A. Now, I'll be back. Sorry about that, I'm back. Engineer Monkey, top path. Sentry Expert, used to be called Sentry Paragon. Very good, from 80 to 90. I don't recommend it for DDTs. If you're going to buy it, use it for the Paragon, or if you're going up to like round 80, or like if you're trying to get to round 100 and you need just that extra bit of damage. Middle path, one that I struggled to say, Ultra Boost, very good for god boosting, very good for bosses to boost not only your farms but also the towers that you're going to be using to actually fight the boss itself. Bottom path, XXX Owl Trap, do not recommend it for money unless you are getting like really packed rounds. Can't really give any like examples off the top of my head, but like round 98 I would say. If you have the money for it and you don't need it, buy it. But if you're not getting the Paragon, I do not recommend it. I only recommend getting the 4th tier. Paragon, I recommend it for tier 5 normal and tier 4 and 5 elite. But if you want to use it for tier 5 elite, you want like degree 60 on it. But there has been an update recently, well, recent enough, that the engineered Paragon now buffs other Paragons. So, for that, gets an A. Monkey Village. Wow, this one's going to be good. So, why is the Dartling Gunner on here and have the Dartling Gunner on? Ignore that Dartling Gunner. Monkey Village. Right. Top path. Primary expertise. Buffs all primary monkeys except Paragons, I'm pretty sure. Has a saw blade that shoots out at the top of the village. Not very good for bosses. Do not recommend it unless you're going to get that buff. Also, makes 2 of the each path of the 3 paths, both 1 and 2 tier of the paths are all free. So that could become really handy. Middle path, Homeland Defense, is very good for God boosting because I think it doubles the attack speed. Don't think it affects Paragons all over the map. Also could be comboed with Call to Arms if used correctly right after the ability wears off. The bottom path you can only buy if there is a farm in range. Monkeyopolis makes money and shoots out crates depending on how much money you put in the farms and how many of said farms they are in the range. If you're going to get a big one, use an overclock on the tower and it will make its range bigger so you can make the Monkeyopolis actually make more. For that, it's going in B tier because you can't really do much. Spike Factory. Pot Path, Super Mines. Pretty expensive. Do not recommend it for like if you go to round 100 unless you're farming hard. And when I say hard, I mean like getting banks before like round 40. If you're starting to get like an empire up, then go for it. If not, step down a little, maybe get something cheaper, maybe like a Glaive Lord, might be able to deal with some of the rounds, and top it off with something else. If you're going for middle path, I don't really recommend it unless you're going for the Paragon. But if you're gonna go for it, get the 4th tier, not the 5th tier, because you can use it to insta-kill bosses. But I do recommend Carpet of Spikes sometimes on rare occasions. Bottom path, Perma Spike. Very good against DDTs, sometimes ZOMGs, but if you're going to get one of these, make sure you place it at the back of the map so it has time to place them. If you get top path, it'll be able to pop DDTs from the start, but if you get middle path, you're going to have to add an Alchemist or an MIB village. Also, could be used to insta-kill bosses, but they did make it so spikes despawn when a boss comes, so that might not be able to work. Spike Factory Paragon, I recommend for 5th tier elite bosses, and if you can, 4th tier elite. Nothing else because it's just that too expensive, and because it can probably do a solo elite 5-star elite on its own, probably could, I don't know, makes it an S tier. Banana Farm, top path, Banana Central, crucial for boss events because you're gonna have to farm that hard. This is the only reliable option. Top path 5th tier, you combine it with all over the map 420 banana farms, you're gonna make bank. But if you're gonna go for co-op, make sure everyone gets one as well. Middle path, Monkeyonomics. If you're gonna get the middle path 5th tier, then get it. Like, do not buy IMF loan and don't buy the 5th tier, because the IMF loan gives you 9,000 or 10,000 if you have the monkey knowledge point, but it puts you in debt. So half of your income goes towards paying the bank and the other half goes towards your actual money income that you can spend. But if you have the monkey knowledge, I think that gets reduced to like 40% of the money that you make goes to the IMF loan instead. I can't really remember. But if you're gonna get the 5th tier, buy the IMF loan. If you're not, don't bother with it. Unless you need that instant cash ASAP. But it's not really worth it. Bottom path. There's a secret with bottom path that I think most people know, but I like calling it a secret. Monkey Wall Street not only makes 5,000 at the end of the round, all crates in its radius automatically get picked up. So you can get a Monkey Wall Street next to a Banana Central and it automatically pick up the crates, which I think is very cool. And I think it also regains lives, I think. So for that is another S tier. Ignore that, we're going to go to this guy. Since these are new, I might not be able to remember all the 5th tiers from the spot. So, BRB. I think it's the Blazing Sun, top 5th tier. Cheap, pretty cheap, but also pretty powerful. But I don't recommend it for the 80s. I recommend it for the 40s to the 70s. That's it. By then, it's going to be falling off loads, mainly because of super ceramics. So I don't recommend it. Middle path, can't remember the name, but I know it's got an ability that is actually very good, so I do recommend it. Bottom path, can't really remember it either, but apparently it is very good, so I do recommend that as well. But since I do not have much experience, I'm going to put it in B tier. Mermonkey. Top path, can't remember the name. If you get the top path 5th tier, you can place water towers in like the little bit around it when there's no water there. So it can make some pretty good things where there's no water on the map. You can make water with it. Middle path Poseidon is very good, very strong ability. And the bottom path, I can't remember, the final harmonic, that's it. You can place where the mowers spin around a place and then get put back, but you can have like all your damaging towers in that spot, so you can just crush like a bunch of stuff. For that, it goes in A. And last but certainly not least, the Beast Handler. But this is going to get like really bad because of merging, which is going to cost way more. Top path, Megalodon. You need 4 4th tiers to merge into the one that's going to become the 5th tier and buy the upgrade to get the Megalodon. Pretty good for bosses. I do recommend it for tier 3 elite and tier 4, not tier 5 elite. If you're going to get it in a normal boss, make sure there's water, because you can't get it if there isn't. It buffed is very good. It can insta-kill BADs if their health doesn't go above like a certain RBE, aka red balloon equivalent. The middle path, which is the dinosaur, has a stomp ability that does a ton of damage. Also grabs them, like bites them, which can also do a ton of damage. The bottom path, which is like the bird, it can move like, I think it moves like 0 MGs back to wherever like your resting point is for it, but I don't know if that's true. Also, it does a bit of damage, like a bit of damage, but I don't really use the bottom path very much, so I'm going to put it in A. Well, this is my tier list. None of them in D. If you agree, tell me in the comments, and I'll see you soon. See you later. Bye.